Here's a little something extra for you guys. I know this is an AutoCAD class, but one of my favorite tools that also, as you guys have seen, that I use in conjunction with AutoCAD is Google Earth Pro. You can now get Google Earth Pro for free. It used to be an upgraded annual fee charge, but now you can have all the benefits of Google Earth Pro. And so I would highly recommend you download it and use it. It's a very versatile tool, especially for almost any industry, but especially the landscape industry. It's very similar how you pan around. The only difference is instead of using your scroll wheel to pan around in AutoCAD, you actually use your left button click to do the panning. And then your wheel is, if you click that and hold, that's what gives you your 3D, tilt and pan around. So that is using, what I'm doing right now is using my center wheel to tilt it and pan around in a circle off that point, and then to then pan in any direction is my left click of the mouse. So if you guys use Google Maps on your phones, Google Earth is fairly similar, but is much more advanced in certain areas. So for example, you can add, here, I've added these polys. So you can see for a client, I noted I have a controller here, so I drop a pin here. And then I noted what the service area was for that controller. So it made a nice exhibit. Also, Google Earth does these nice topographies. So you get that 3D effect in there. It, is very helpful. On top of that, besides just the nice graphic effects, is you can see down here, it tells me my elevation and levels, and so here, and it gives me latitude and longitude, but I use a lot of the elevation because, like, for instance, if I'm doing landscape or irrigation, for irrigation people, elevation determines my static pressure at those points. So I can see right now where my cursor is held is 269 feet of elevation, but then as I go up, you can see at the top of the street here, now I'm at 315 feet. So with that, you can see I can do my mathematical calculations. It's very highly accurate. So I use it all the time. Next is, let's say I want to measure these slopes. Is I have this measure tool. So if you hit show ruler here, I can do a line from here to the top, and it's going to tell you that that is 41 feet. I can change it to whatever distance I want, units. I can do a path. So if I want to find from here all the way through, multiple clicks, then I'm at almost 300 feet. Now, if I wanted to do a landscape area, let's say I'm going from here, I need to find out how much mulch or how much cobble or something that I'm doing. It's going to tell me that the perimeter, if I want the perimeter length, let's say it's for a fence, that it's 284 feet. But if I'm doing square feet, it's the area is 3,960 square feet. Or if I needed acres, 0.09 acres. So we use that a lot to calculate water use. And I know other clients use it for cost estimates. It's a really helpful tool. So we can then find out all those parts. If we need to then drop in, let's say I want to do a new point, I can drop in a point here. I can drag it around. I can change the color of it. or that's the text icon. Let's change that to red. Let's say I want to change the marker. I don't want a pin. Maybe I want an arrow. And then that's my marker. I can then delete my marker or edit my marker. I can email it and I can share it. And then let's see. So then I'll show you, for example, how full. So here, this is the city of Aliso Viejo. So this is all the controllers in the city that the city maintains. So I have them all pinpointed exactly where the controllers are. Here, I'll show you. I'll zoom in here. Controller 13600 is here. I can then come through here and do a street view. And you're going to see that's where the controller is. And so this is also helpful, you know, if you're working on a project that's 40 miles away and you don't want to drive all the way out there, spend time and money. A lot of times we come through, and if there's especially if there's a recent street view, this is 1220, so this was just taken about 5 months ago, 5-6 months ago, then we know this is pretty accurate, and we can see where equipment is, where water meters are, electrical meters, controllers, other type of utilities, and we can see that fine-grained detail. Sometimes this keeps, I don't know. Sometimes it can be a little funky. There we go. And here I did an exhibit. We had the magenta is recycled water, and we had this little bit of domestic water, which is the blue. And the client wanted us to tie this in to the magenta. So we created an exhibit for the water district and did the area takeoffs, and then they could see what was being tied in and connected. This is also good for retrofit planning, so on and so forth. HOAs really like how this looks if you work with them. You know, you can then see on some of this so this is the 3D portion. Google currently only has one view of the 3D, but then one of my favorite things, if I go here, is you can see how this has changed. So this is this picture was taken 11/20, and you can see this was then converted to shrubs, where if I go back, this was turf at the time. So I can see going back in time that 320, now 519, it's still turf. And then we can how far, and the picture intervals depend on what location you're at. So you can go through, you can see where their hot spots are. So you have a record of that for irrigation. You can see if they've had some problem in certain locations. Going back, so the 3D picture was taken for 18. But then if I keep going through, I can go all the way back to 2002. The park wasn't even built yet at the time. So this was just all dirt. And then if I really go back, now a lot of the homes aren't there. And then I don't know if I go, ooh, that's a very old picture. So you don't even see that much here. But it's a fun thing to do. I don't know, if you like, let's say you go here to Disneyland. Their most recent picture, like for example, if you follow any of that, you can see, let's see if it takes you here. This is where in Disney California Adventure, this used to be Bugs Life or Bugs Land, and now this is the new Adventures campus. So you can come through here even before people have been let in to see it, and you can see where everything is, how they have everything laid out. You go back in time. You can kind of see the pictures aren't the best. This is them constructing it. More construction. This is pretty good construction right here. You know, they're in the middle of developing it. That's early, more early. And then you can see this is when it used to be the Bugs Land. So you can really go back in time. I think I can even take this to, so this was the parking lot before Cars Land existed. And you can even go back in time before Disney California Adventure even existed, and there was the parking lot. You can go and see when Star Wars Land. Sorry, I'm not a crazy Disney person, but I do like Disney. I always like the construction side of it, knowing the cool projects that they work on. I know some of the consultants, so I always get to hear the stories of the different aspects of the projects. But so that's Star Wars Land being done. But yeah, so you can see when things are being built. Same thing for new developments. You can come down here in Rancho Mission Viejo and you can go back in time before Ascensia and Sendero existed. You know, if we go a little further, now you can see Sendero exists and they're starting on Ascensia. And then if we move a little further, this is built out and now they're moving in. And then we go to current day where most of it's built out. Same thing, you can do it with Ladera Ranch. You can see Ladera before it was done. You can see exactly where everything is. And so this is also helpful when, you know, if you're doing plans, if you're lucky enough to have, you know, the client wants you to do some plans for your yard. You can come in, let's say I have this house, I can zoom into it and I can use this to create a base file. It's not the highest imagery, but it gives you something to start with. You know, I can come in here, I know the scale right here. I know where north is pointing this direction. I can take measurements. I can take the screenshot of this all, import it into AutoCAD and use it as a base to start doing the design. You know, I can say, you know, this house right here, use this as the base for how I'm going to lay out the pool and the little cabana and the patio and the grass area. So this is maybe a little better picture. So you can go back and look at the imagery. So I would definitely play around with Google Earth. It's a pretty cool tool and you can see and learn a lot. Okay, thanks guys.